Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Mike Sabo, and this is my 1987 Honda TRX 250R that we just got done restoring and turning into a motocross quad. If you're interested to see how much it costs to build this 250R, stick around because I'm going to be going through my entire budget and showing you exactly what it costs to build Project 250R. Okay guys, so first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that has followed the series and everybody who actually watched me build this thing. I appreciate everybody's support, and I also want to give a huge thank you to all the companies that came together and helped make this possible. Now, if you're new to the channel and you like watching ATV content, dirt bike content, and side-by-side content, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that notification bell so you know when I'm making my new videos. We do have some new projects coming up in the future. We build stuff like this, and we also do more mild builds as well. So we'll start off by going over what we started with. The initial build started with a 1987 Honda TRX 250R. We paid $3,000 for it, and it was in really good condition for what it was. It's a 1987. For people that don't know, they made the Honda TRX 250R from 1986 to 1989, and it is one of the most iconic race quads ever. They raced these things basically up until the early 2000s, and they were competing against 450s, and they were very competitive even with modern day sport quads. Unfortunately, because of regulations, they had to stop running them. But anyways, they did stop the production of them in 1989, which totally baffles so many people because it was such a great platform. So great that guys like me are even spending the amounts of money that I am to this day restoring them so that they can be run and raced today. So we had a really nice platform to start with, and then what we ended up doing was designing this quad and then kind of following through and slowly finding out what aftermarket parts are available and also learning what setups work best. This is the first 250R I've ever actually worked with, and I would not say that it is an extreme pro motocross build either. It's just a well-rounded build. It should be really good for the motocross track. The motor is pretty mild, but it should be a lot of fun too. It's a 309cc stroker. So as far as the parts on this thing, I tried to go with the best of the best, but as high as I could possibly go because this stuff gets crazy expensive. You can see we got Roll Design A-arms on here, Fox Float suspension. We've got some factory 43 Nerf bars with super big pegs. Got the Mxa 6 tires, a lot of premium stuff. So as far as any build that I've ever done, this is by far the most expensive and in-depth build that I've ever built. If you guys followed the Banshee series, it's not quite as powerful as the Banshee. That thing is kind of like a straight line machine. This thing should handle really, really well. And unfortunately, I haven't even had a chance to really see what the full potential of it is, but I cannot wait to do that. So now that you know a little bit about the machine and the project, let's hop over to the computer and go over what all of the expenses were for Project 250R. All right, guys, here we go. We have got quite the laundry list of things here. So I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible, but also be as detailed as possible. Now, I did my best to try to keep everything included and updated this constantly throughout the build series. However, it is possible that I missed one or two things, but as far as I know, this is pretty much entirely inclusive of the project. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that these prices reflect exactly what a consumer would pay. So some of you guys know that I do get some help from sponsorships and companies, and that is not reflected in these prices. So if you decide to do a build like mine, these are the exact prices you can expect to pay, and they do include taxes as well. So I have this organized from most expensive to least expensive. We'll start right at the top with the Mxa Arms. They are +3s by IMS Roll Design, and they came in just under $1,600. Really expensive stuff, but I wanted the most premium stuff. I've always wanted to run Roll Design, and they are awesome. Then we have the Fox Rc2 Shocks. They came in just over $1,300. I got those both from ATV Galaxy, and I also got the rear shock, the Elka Stage 4, which came in at $1,122.54. That came from ATV Galaxy as well. Now, next expensive is the ESR cylinder. That comes in at $980. And beyond that is the Hauser swing arm. Now, that I did get used, and I paid around $350. I got that from the R shop. You can find them on eBay. They have a ton of used 250R parts, almost anything you're looking for, and a lot of aftermarket stuff. They usually have it. So I did put the retail price. Now, I don't know exactly what Hauser was asking for their swing arms when they were offered. I don't think you can get them anymore. It's possible that they would build them for you custom, but I'm going to say it was around $800. Aftermarket swing arms are quite expensive, especially from premium brands. And we'll move on to the powder coating that was done by Bonehead Performance. That was just under 800 bucks. We got $779.10. And there were countless amounts of custom billet parts built by NPM, that's Nelson Precision Manufacturing. Everything from the clutch cover to the custom master cylinder covers. We had the custom Nerf bar mounts. They built so many custom things for me. I really can't thank those guys enough. I would estimate the value of the parts that they built, that they made for this, around $700. Then we'll move on to Precision. That was the Elite steering stabilizer. Those are expensive, man. They come in at $599 with tax. We are at $635.99. Next expensive thing is the Meyer Fenders. They came in at $559.64. We got them from ZMP Performance. Beyond that, we have the Factory 43 Nerf bars. Those were $492.85, pretty pricey. Moving on, we have the rear wheels. They were by OMF. They were $465.90. Beyond that, we have the Hinson Quick Change clutch cover. They are $455. Then we have the ESR TRX5 pipe and silencer. They come in just over $450. The axle is a +4. It's an RPM Dominator. That comes in around $400. The ignition and flywheel are from LED Performance. They're made by HPI, and they come in just under $400. The carbon fiber hood and tank cover were built by Fourwerx. They came in at $355 together. And then, of course, you have the 38mm short body carb from Kian. That is a $330 item. The extended steering stem from IMS Roll Design is $317.95. The Mxa R6 tires got the full set for $301. We got those from Summit Racing. The Stroker crankshaft, that is a hot rods, that was just under $300 from ESR. The bar risers are Precision. They are $243.79. The anti-fade is by Fireball, $233.20. You guys can pick those up on eBay if you type in Honda 250R anti-fade. A lot of people ask me where to find those. Moving on, we have the Duncan front bumper. We got that from DBC Racing. That was $230. The Billet clutch basket is by Hinson. That's a $220 piece. The custom seat cover is by Fourwerx. That was $190. The disc brake and sprocket guard by DRW Performance. Together they come to about $175. The custom Nerf bar nets were given to me by HSD Racing. They're made by JSR and they come in around $170 with the custom embroidery and patches. The front wheels are DWT Rockouts. They come in at $155.90. The radiator scoops are by RTC. You can pick them up for $152.95. I did find that you can get them a little bit cheaper if you get them directly through RTC on their Facebook page. Stainless steel bolt kit came from DBC Racing. That was just under $150. The F3 ASV shorty levers were $143.05. The reed block is from ESR. They come in just under $130. I got brand new front and rear discs for $126.01. They came from Sled Parts Guy on eBay. We got custom printed graphics from AGMX. They were around $120. The billet brake pedal is from ESR. You can pick those up just over $100. The belly skid plate is by DRW Performance, just over $100. To have the frame sandblasted, it was $100. The airbox delete kit from ESR is just under $100. Bushings and bearings came to just under $100. The radiator hoses and radiator from GPI were $95.40. Pin style seat latch by LSR, $90. Frame gussets, that is from TLR. You can get them on trx250r.org. From Pumashine, they come in at $88. Then we have the brake pads front and rear. We have the EBC red pads. They were $87. The intake boot is by UPP. That's an $83 part. Rear linkage is by Pivotworks. That's $79.95. That is a discontinued part. I got super lucky finding those bushings and bearings. Really, really happy about that. And then moving on, we have the Billet Shifter. Now we have removed this. It was a Billet Pro Design shifter. It was a little bit too long. We wound up going with the IMS shifter. There's a video where I show how I make that shifter. So we're not actually running the Pro Design, but I still included it in here. Now, as you move on, we have the case saver from DRW Performance. That is an essential thing. I put a DRW Performance case saver on every single one of my builds. I love those guys, and I honestly think that it is the best case saver that money can buy. They come in just under $75.
The fat bars are ATV mid-bend and they're by Pro Taper, $71.54. Then we have the brake rebuild kits. That was from Tusk and All Balls. They were $61.49. The chain is by Primary Drive, $55.95. The chain guide is made by TMD, $51.37. Spacer plate and studs, ESR, that's $45. Billet exhaust flange from ESR, $45. Billet counterbalance holder, that is from Boss Racing, $44.97. The twin row carrier is by Top Notch, that was $42.35. The temperature gauge is by Boss. This is another one of those things that we actually switched out for a digital one that was the Trail Tech. They both cost around about the same amount. I think the Trail Tech was $45, so I just left this in here. That was $41.97. The sprockets are by Vortex, $36.90. The rear stainless brake lines are by Streamline, $34.19. The fuel and carb lines are by AP3 Racing. They're $33.39. The kill switch tether is by Pro Design. They're $31.79. The rear fender support was OEM. I bought that from a subscriber for $30. The billet gas cap is by Alba, $27.67. Throttle cable is by Motion Pro, $26. Grips are ODI clamp-ons, $24.95. The upper chain roller is by UPP, $20.41. Tie rod ends are by Caltric, $19.08. The chrome lugs I bought from eBay. They were $17.28. Billet oil cap was by a company called Mace, $11.12. The push kill switch was bought on eBay from a company called HTTMT with $9.53. Cables, miscellaneous cables from Motion Pro, $7.95. Thumb throttle gasket by BDT, $4.75. That's a discontinued part, but you can get them from BDT. And the hour meter from eBay, $4.10, bringing the overall cost of parts to $17,165.53. I think I just shit my pants, guys. That's the most I've ever put into any of my builds. I don't even think I've put that much into my cars. As we move on here, the cost of the bike was $3,000. So with that $3,000 and the $17,165.53, the total cost of the build was $20,165.53. Holy shit. Like I said, this is the most I've ever put into any of my projects, but I think it was worth it. Now, this was an extremely expensive project, so I want to stop and give a huge thank you to all the companies that offered tech support and parts to make this possible. Without their support, I could have never brought this build as far as I did, and if you're looking to do your own project, I definitely recommend hitting them up. And let's not forget, guys, the overall design of this ATV is to be a tribute to the military, so I want to stop and give a huge thank you to all the men and women that put their life on the line to make this country such an amazing place to live. And one last thing to mention, guys, I do have all of the parts that I sold. These are the OEM parts that I pulled off of the quad. All of this stuff is pretty much OEM. There are some aftermarket parts here. I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but you can see the total comes to $2,400.85. And this does not include some of the other parts. I still have my cylinder, the cylinder head. I have the clutch cover that's vapor blasted, basically looks like brand new. I have the ignition system. I'd say at least $1,000 worth of parts that I could recoup. So I got $2,485 that was recuperated. And after my eBay fees and shipping fees, I think it came to just under $2,000 that I got in return. So definitely something to take into account. If you're doing a build, you can resell some of the takeoff parts as long as they're in good condition.
So as you can see, guys, building a machine like this is not cheap, but it should be well worth it. And you may be saying, why the hell would you put this much money into an old piece of crap like this? Now, believe it or not, if you were to build a modern day sport quad and make it MX ready, it's probably going to be even more expensive than this. Now, just like with any quad that I've ever done work on, the first time that I'm working on it is always a learning experience, and there are a number of things that I would have done differently if I could do this a second time around. So amongst other things, I think the most notable difference that I probably would do would be running a non-power valve setup. So we did run the ESR CEO cylinder with a power valve. You can get those without a power valve, and I could plug this one off too, which would simplify it, but in short, I do believe that a non-power valve setup would have served me a little bit better in this case, and it would have simplified things. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for Project 250R. We are going to have videos where we ride this thing and we compare it. We'll probably take it out with the Banshee, and we'll see how it compares power-wise, handling-wise. It should be pretty vastly different. But as far as the actual build itself, we're pretty much done. There may be some minor odds and ends that we change. If you guys saw towards the end of the project, I ended up taking the Pro Design shifter off and putting the little IMS shifter on there because it was shorter. Just little things like that, making minute details. is always subject to change. So again, I want to thank everybody that followed the series and watched me build this thing. If you haven't followed the series and you're interested in seeing me do the work on this quad, I go very in depth with showing exactly how the breakdown was, welding in the gussets, building everything up, choosing the parts, why I chose the parts, the entire motor breakdown and build, all of that stuff is in the series. I think it's like 40 plus videos. So if you're interested in that, definitely go to Project 250R playlist and you can view it there. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting a video. And remember to give me that thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. That helps me out so much, guys. So again, thank you, and thank you to all my sponsors and everything. I love all you guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.